Do you remember the saying, the book is always better than the movie? It's a pretty common statement. Books with their detailed descriptions, internal monologues, and the ability to delve into characters' thoughts, providing a richer, more immersive experience compared to the films. Though the Lord of the Rings movies were tremendous. The same goes with comics and the TV series Marvel's What If. Back in the day, in What If Volume 1, they were one-shots that explored a lot of the weird events. But my favorite ones were superheroes that lost and the bad guys won. Today, there's more focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, just like all the current MCU. And even in the multiverse, men are losers. Here's looking at you, Thor. From the original concept in the comics, which were nuts to begin with, this show managed to continue to disappoint. The stories in these 2 seasons didn't come close to the crazy and awesome stories of the comics. Man, those used to be epic, not predictable like in season 2 finale with Captain Carter getting the Infinity Gems. Really? Should have called this the Captain Carter Show, but I digress. The original What If comics. My favorite one was What If Marvel superheroes lost Atlantis attacks. The story, which was a storyline from '89, had all the Marvel superheroes successfully repel an invasion by the serpent god Set and his forces from the sunken city of Atlantis. This played out in 14 comic books, and as usual, the bad guys lost and the good guys won. It was kind of a lame major event in comic books, in my opinion. In the What If, though, published 2 years later, instead of a victory, there was a massacre. Instead of stopping Set from taking over the planet, practically every Marvel superhero either dies or becomes a mindless drone. Spider-Man, Iron Man, X-Men, the Avengers. Scarlet Witch kills off Wolverine. She-Hulk kills Hulk by having him turn to Bruce and then pummeling him. Doctor Doom was taken out by the Phoenix. Everyone save Silver Surfer, Quasar, and a burnt to a crisp Thor. All the inhabitants of Earth remain drones and consumed by the children of Set. Dark. And it ended there, with snakes running rampant all over Earth, eating the mindless masses. The issue explored the consequences of such a defeat and how it would impact the Marvel Universe. A real what-if scenario. It was crazy. And as a young boy reading this, it was shocking. Heroes losing? It was great. And it's why Infinity War in the MCU was so good. Today, we have What If on Disney Plus, and not much to my surprise, it's mid. Okay, not bad, but not really compelling. They seem to be a series of small stories that build off each other, coming together, and somehow the good guys still win. Boring. And we're back in the day, they used to be hypothetical stories. Now they're real and a part of the multiverse of Marvel. Man, I'm not a fan of the multiverse stuff. It seems cheap and impertinent. You can always bring back one who died from another universe. Now, don't get me wrong, I know the rule of comic book writing. No one ever dies forever. Heck, I used to manage a comic book shop in the early 90s, when comics were, in my opinion, at their peak. Back then, they killed off Superman in what became a huge social event. It even made the news. Our store had people lined around the corner to get one. It was nuts. And yet, 6 months later, Superman came back in 4 forms. So did all the superheroes back then. And that's what made the What If comics so good. They had hypotheticals that had pertinence to them. When someone died in that comic, they were dead. That's why people loved them. It truly defied expectation. Not in the let's make everyone a girl, but in the let's go dark and see what would really happen if bad guys won. Episode 8 of season 1 of Disney Plus's What If was What If Ultron won? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Well, not exactly. After watching it, it was okay. Thanos dies from a blast from the Mind Stone, which was cool because the Mind Stone in the comics is so powerful. And seeing Ultron beat Captain Marvel so handily in the episode was pretty funny. But making Clint, Hawkeye, a punk throughout it all, and Black Widow just being so much better than everyone, MCU at its finest. Now the episode continues, but they should have left it there. Now the episode ends with Ultron winning, and they should have left it there. Let the guy have the victory lap. Let the bad guy win. Let's move on to other neat ideas. Not continue it in the next episode where the good guys come back and defeat them again. This is why these shows aren't being talked about or hitting with audiences, like me and my boys, but this is pretty par with the way Marvel is right now. Making shows that hit diversity quotas, dying on hills that they shouldn't die on, like not recasting characters. And like I mentioned before in my other videos, making girls tougher and boys whiny. Who is this show for? The original What Ifs were a look into extreme possibilities. Some goofy stories, granted. I'm looking at you, number 23. In that one of the stories is, what if Aunt May had been bitten by the radioactive spider instead of Peter? What? Anyways, but here, instead of being standalone stories, they're just an extension of the already existing MCU. Stakeless and predictable. Bad guys lose, good guys win, and the girl bosses take a victory lap. There's so much potential here with stories that could really pique the interest of fans, but as usual, as they've done with all the MCU of late, pander to politics and diversity. Did you know back in the day when Marvel Comics took cool risks with the What If series, they had what ifs like, what if Daredevil killed the Kingpin? What if Kraven the Hunter had killed Spider-Man? What if Silver Surfer had possessed the Infinity Gauntlet? What if Wolverine had killed the Hulk? Holy crap, but no. We get this current What If series that refuses to deviate and actually give us alternate scenarios. Does Captain Carter need to come back so often? Is this the Captain Carter show? Lame. I like Hayley Atwell's acting. Don't get me wrong, she was amazing in Mission Impossible. So this is not against her, but the direction of Marvel and their ever-incessant need to make women better, stronger, smarter than anyone, and everyone else useless. And if you've seen season 2 of What If, you know what I'm talking about. Women are the only capable ones, totally taken away from the what ifs of the past where the stories were compelling, not agenda driven. It's no wonder my boys and others that I know have no interest in this stuff. They've taken another past Marvel success, What If Comics, and decided quantity and politics over quality. Gotta love Captain Carter being the man and Steve Rogers being the maiden in distress. Talk about quality writing. Here's a clip from Bob Iger if you think they're well written.
Marvel Studios just clonked its worst movie debut ever with the release of The Marvels. That's prompting Disney CEO Bob Iger to shift his attention to the production house. In a wide-ranging New York Times interview Wednesday, Iger says turning around the entertainment giant is his #1 priority. He says the focus should be on making a few good films rather than many that are not high quality. The company is currently working on franchise sequels, but Iger says Disney will only greenlight ones worth telling.
Stories worth telling? Boy, I couldn't agree more with you, Bob. And the What If series really isn't. Thanks for making it this far, and if you could, like and sub for more stuff like this. And leave a comment below and tell me what you think.